ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्सु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ज्ञानावस्थिततन्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै। So after a few months, we'll be starting again with chapter 8. I did verse number 20 in November. Afterwards, I could not do, and no other teacher was available to do that. So then Pujya Swamiji's lectures used to be there, you must have seen also. So we'll have to start with chapter 8, verse 20. But what is chapter 8? What has gone in verse 19 verses? Well, I will have to tell you that first. Let it take some time. But I want to give you the whole thing, what has gone in this 19 verses of chapter 8. So Bhagavad Gita has this 3 sections. This kind of division has been done by acharyas, it's not our cup of tea. So the first 6 chapters, then the second 6 chapters, and the last 6 chapters. Well, chapter 8 appears in the middle. So it is in the second Shatkam, group of 6. And the predominant topic here is a upasana, meditation. And in that, this chapter 8 also has we'll talk about a particular type of meditation, which is not talked in other 5 chapters. Yeah, special. Meditation on the self, the meditation on Brahman without attributes, has been already talked in chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga, which we call generally as a Nididhyasanam, contemplation. But this chapter, talks about meditation on Omkara as Alambanam, sound symbol. It's a symbol. Omkara is not a written symbol, it's a sound. Resorting to that sound symbol, one meditates on Ishvara. As such also, it's a very unique name. Om is not a name of anyone else. We give a name, of course, to anybody. But Om is a unique name of Ishvara. Yeah. That's how all the time, even the Mahatmas also, they want to draw anybody's attention or they want to call each other. They say, Om. They start like this. Any mantra in the Veda also begins with Om. So that while we are going to do mantra meditation, etc., then definitely when you chant with the Om, we draw Ishvara's attention towards us. Yeah. So very beautiful meditation. And so this is, they call it as this Omkara is Pranava also. They call it Akshara Brahma. It's Ekakshara. Om is Ekakshara, like our Cha. Cha in Gujarati actually. It's a Cha in Hindi, but it's Ekakshara. Just one word, one syllable word. What has many syllables? And Jagat has two syllables. So here this Om is one syllable word. And this is, it is nothing but the Brahman, Parmeshwara. Therefore, this chapter is also called Akshara Brahma Yoga. Yoga means a topic. And as I told, this particular meditation, now the question is why meditation is actually, it's a mental activity, it's a karma. So you relate to Ishvara just mentally. Any activity centered on Ishvara, any mental activity centered on Ishvara is meditation, in which it's activity. So the mind is active, many thoughts, but the object of all the thoughts is Ishvara. And so you can do a worship, whole worship one can do, which you do physically, puja, you can do mentally. It's physical worship, we don't call meditation. But the same worship if you do mentally, varieties of the steps, everything. So you visualize whole thing. It's a visualization. Clearer the visualization, more successful the meditation. Yeah. Clearer the visualization. Sometimes you visualize but hazy. Then it's not. But of course, one has a samskaras, must have done physical worship before for many years. And for some reason one can do, one is not able to do. Well, one can simply sit and visualize the whole thing. And so this is Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara. Manasa Vyapara, mental activity centered on Saguna Brahma Ishvara is meditation. Same way verbal also activity we do, chanting, etc. Chanting the stotras, singing the glories of Ishvara through the stotras, etc. That's a verbal activity. So speech is involved, mind also is involved when you do that. But when speech is not involved, just mind is involved, one can chant the entire Vishnu Sahasranama mentally. Not even one should, take help of even... No, not that also. Purely mental. No connection to breathing. Yeah, but I don't want to go into that. No connection to breathing. Sometimes what we do mentally, we has a connection with the breathing, especially the chant, mental chant. Om Namah Shivaya, people synchronize with the breathing. That's not meditation. Purely mental. There is a technique how to disconnect it from the breathing, etc. Breathing continues. It's an involuntary thing, but you disconnect it. So, this is also a meditation. And it is a manasa karma. It should not be here in Vedanta, right? Where there is subject matter is it's Atma Jnanam. Where is the question of karma? It should be before. In Veda also, we have two sections, Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda, etc. But invariably, Jnana Kanda, the Upanishads have meditations. Yeah. So we really wonder why it should be here. It should be there in the Karma Kanda only because it is mental activity, Manasa Karma. It should be there like physical activity, Kaika Karma, like verbal activity. Vachika karma, well, manas karma also should be there. Why it is here? In Bhagavad Gita also it is there. So that shows there must be a connection between the manasa karma, that upasana, and this jnanam. There is some connection, otherwise it should not appear here. And there is connection, well, is because definitely one needs a mind for knowledge, free from two obstacles. Actually, there are three obstacles in a human life before one gains moksha. One has to cross three obstacles or get rid of three types of obstacles. And the first obstacle is we call avaranam. It's a technical name. It means ignorance. Ignorance of oneself. So one doesn't know oneself, the truth of oneself. But one doesn't know the truth of I. And that's the first obstacle. Well, it can go by knowledge. Ignorance can go by knowledge. And therefore, well, one should expose oneself to the teaching, which is the means of knowledge. Words of Shastra, through the teacher. When you expose, gain knowledge, ignorance goes away. But it doesn't go. It doesn't go like that. Therefore, we can assume there are certain other obstacles also. Not just avarana. There are other obstacles, which should be perhaps taken care of first. But then this will be, this will help. This knowledge will definitely remove ignorance in one's head. And yes, there are two types of obstacles which is to be taken care of before you remove this third obstacle called ignorance. And that is, first is this malam they call. Malam is an impurity. Impurities. Impurities is nothing but this our own ragadvesha. Why do you call impurity ragadvesha impurity? Because ragadvesha represents basically a guna. In terms of guna, it is rajo guna only. Yeah, rajo raga atmakam viddhi. Rajaha, well, this when rajo guna is predominant, then definitely this raga etc. arises. Attachment etc. I don't want to go into that, but it is there. And mind is made up of sattva aspect of all elements. And therefore, when Rajoguna becomes predominant, definitely predominant in terms of raga, etc., it's impurity. It should remain sattvic. That's its normal state. If it remains sattvic, then one can gain knowledge. Therefore, one has to take care of this raga dvesha. I say raga, but one should take it. Dvesha is just opposite of it. Yeah. Where there is an attachment, somewhere there is aversion also. Where there is aversion, there is somewhere attachment. Opposite to that, of course. So these things are there. And so, and that too, we may feel that, well, attachment towards something or aversion towards something must be part of me. Everyone has, every individual has. Therefore, well, it is a part of me. Why should I get rid of it? Because since they are fences, we should get rid of it. It's your own creation. If it is Ishvara's creation, then definitely not, we should not get rid of it. Why should we get rid of it? We cannot get rid of it. It's our own fences actually. And how can you say it is fences? Well, today what you have, you like a particular object, you are attached to a particular object, tomorrow you have aversion for that. So therefore it is not a part of the Ishvara Srishti, it's our own projections. Then we should definitely take care of them. Yeah. And there is a method. This Bhagavad Gita describes also karma yoga, etc. Well, definitely certain attitude behind your activity will definitely help you to address this issue of malam. With the help of Ishvara. Karma yoga also, well, in our mental activity we take help of Ishvara. Our attitude for action is attitude of offering, etc. And varieties of the situations in our life also we see his hand, because it's a karma phala. He is a karma phala data. Therefore we should have a certain attitude when we receive a certain karma phala. We receive a result of an action in terms of our situations in life. Well, so a healthy attitude should be there, which will help to neutralize this mala. one impurity gone. But we see that even though person is following a value, person is having a right attitude, very healthy, and person has a moral values, looks like he is free from conflicts, yet the restlessness of the mind doesn't go. So it's another issue. Yeah. So we all of are generally dharmic. I mean, we have a certain healthy mind. We follow moral orders, right? All of us. But still, we know our mind keeps wanders. So it's another obstacle. And so mind restlessness, non-abiding, doesn't remain steady on a certain topic. That definitely hinders gaining knowledge. Yeah. Mind should be an abiding mind. When it receives knowledge, it should be behind the words in order to understand it, receive it properly, then retain it, and finally assimilate it. What mind is required is a steady mind, abiding mind. Therefore, this restlessness, etc., also should be taken care of. Even modern psychologists now, they don't take any other thing, but they import at least this meditations because they know. So one of the issues they address is this restlessness of the mind, too much disturbance in the mind. So they also now resort to some of the meditations, they prescribe meditations. So this is in Sanskritam we call vikshepa, disturbance. That is also to be taken care of. So that is why once it is free from these impurities and vikshepa, restlessness, etc., then one definitely is prepared to gain the knowledge. So therefore these upasana meditations help you for your preparedness for knowledge. It is also discussed along with this knowledge. Where the knowledge is given in Upanishads, several meditations are there, several types of meditations. These are all Vedic meditations which we are not able to do. But definitely meditations are there. Everything is ultimately, you need a knowledge of Ishvara first. That knowledge has been given by Bhagavan in the 7th chapter, then in the 9th chapter, 10th chapter, in terms of glories, various glories. 11th chapter also Bhagavan showed Vishwarupa. This all is a knowledge of Ishvara with attributes, Brahman with attributes. So that knowledge is essential, otherwise how will you meditate? And therefore knowledge also is given there. And one can definitely meditate. Either one looks upon Ishvara in particular aspect, in a certain form. All forms are his forms. So you choose a form which you like, given up by, of course, Shastra. One cannot choose this and meditate. So this also manifestation. One cannot. Shastra gives you certain prescribed forms. You choose from that. And you relate mentally in form of doing mental puja, manasa puja, or manasa stotra patha, or manasa japa. And that will help the person to get rid of this vikshepa, and one can gain the knowledge. And these meditations, if you do it, of course, you are relating to Ishvara mentally. It has a phalam, naturally, result. Result will be punyam. So results of the particular meditations also are given. In Upanishad also they are given, otherwise also in other Shastra also they are given. If you do meditate on this as a Ishvara, particular Devata, aspect of Ishvara means is Devata. If you meditate on this Devata, you get this result. If you meditate on this Devata, you get this result, etc. Which is called Sakama Upasana. That's a Sakama Upasana. But there is another type of Upasana, meditation, where you don't want to take anything as a result. You are not interested. You are interested in this knowledge. So where you are not interested in artha, karma, etc., you are interested in moksha. Still one has to do meditation in order to take care of vikshepa. So this kind of a meditation is Nishkam Upasana, where you are not interested in anything, including Brahmaloka, Bhagavan is going to say. So, you are not interested in any result, material result. Then that becomes a Nishkama Upasana. And that is, this Nishkama Upasana is the topic here. In fact, it's a topic in all 6 Shatkam, all 6. Bhagavan gives this knowledge of Ishvara, Brahman with attributes, Ishvara, here is not to that you do this Upasana and gain some material benefit, because the whole thing is meant for gaining moksha, our Bhagavad Gita. So in that context, here the Upasanas are, naturally we have to take it as a Nishkam Upasana, which can definitely help to get rid of Vikshepa, etc., restlessness, so that I can gain knowledge, I can receive it, I can retain it, and I can also own up this knowledge. So this is the idea behind this Shatkam, and Nishkam Upasana has been talked about here also. Now in this particular chapter, which is the Nishkam Upasana which has been talked here, is of one type. There are 2 types of Nishkam Upasana also. So, if the person, if one type of a Nishkam Upasana is in which, you meditate on Ishvara for some length of time, and you are able to take care of your restlessness of the mind, you have got a steady mind, abiding mind, then you drop, because it has served its purpose. So you drop now meditation, and you definitely do Shravanam, Mananam, etc., gain knowledge and become free, gain Jivan Mukti. So Nishkama Upasana in this life ultimately, and knowledge of course, will be able to help you to gain Mukti. This is one type of Nishkama Upasana. But chapter 8 talks about another type of a Nishkama Upasana, which ultimately will not result into Jivan Mukti. Means what? This particular Upasaka, keeps on meditating on Ishvara with the help of Omkara, etc. That's what here actually has been said, Omkara Upasana. So with the help of Omkara Upasana, he keeps meditating on Ishvara. But why, Swamiji? He should also gain knowledge and freedom. But somehow, because what happens is this restlessness is nothing but our own unconscious throws certain disturbances in conscious mind. Sometimes unconscious is very, very heavy. And therefore, the disturbances, even though you do meditation, etc., but you are not able to take care of it completely in given life. In that case, you continue. And then you are not now having inclined for gaining knowledge and gaining mukti. But you like it. Once you form a habit of anything, you start liking too much, whatever it is. So it's a good or bad, whatever. But you start liking. So initially you feel this is too much, taking Omkara and meditating a whole day on Ishvara, various attributes through Omkara. That is too boring. It's not boring, I'm telling you. It itself gives you rasaswada, then, because your mind definitely, merges into this whole thing. It's almost like a samadhi kind of a thing. Any meditation, if you practice for a length of time, mind will be absorbed into that, the object of meditation. So mind absorbs into even Omkara also, attributes of the Omkara. And how, with the help of Omkara, the various aspects of Ishvara has been meditated. That has been discussed in Mandukya also, has been discussed in other Upanishad also, which we are not going into that. But it is there. The Akara stands for the whole, this entire world which is emerging from Ishvara, etc. And then Ukara stands for the maintenance, sustenance of that. And Makara stands for the resolution of the whole universe into Ishvara. So Ishvara is looked upon as a creator, sustainer, etc. All like that. There are several aspects. Several things are there. Jagra, Sapna, Shushupti, Akara, Ukara, Makara. Or the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Akara, Ukara, Makara. Like that, there are several. All ultimately is glory of Ishvara. So basically, you get absorbed into that. So somehow he is not inclined for the knowledge, whatever be the reason, we don't know. We can say because of his unconscious, heavy unconscious value, in taking care of that itself, the whole life goes. Or he is not inclined somehow, he doesn't have a special punyam to come to the knowledge. Let's say anything. Because Bhagavan also does not specify, but it is, we see the people who meditate, who are meditators, and they have formed a habit, they don't want to disturb and come to the classes also, and it happens like that. So this Nishkam Upasaka, he also doesn't want anything, but he does this Ishvara Dhyanam throughout the life. And that kind of Upasaka, well, what will he gain? What will be his gati? How, where will he go, etc. All these things has been discussed here in this chapter. So, the chapter begins with, here now, let's enter into the chapter. I have just given you the gist of it. Chapter begins with Arjuna's question, first 2 verses, which is of course based on Bhagavan's particular words which he used in the end of the 7th chapter. He used the word adhyajna, adhyatma, adhidaivam, etc., etc. So Arjuna thought, what are those things? And therefore he wanted to know. So, what is this adhibhutam, what is adhidaivam, what is adhyajnam, what is Brahma, what is karma, etc., etc. 6 things. Bhagavan used those terminology and he wants to know. So 6 questions regarding that. What is adhyajna, etc.? What is adhyatma? And then 7th question which he asked is this, that what is the significance of remembering Lord, like in meditation, etc., throughout the life? What is the significance? And how to do that also? Suppose it is really good that you remember Ishvara in meditation, through meditation, with a certain symbol, taking help of symbol, you constantly meditate. Then what is its significance? And suppose if I want to do, how will I be able to do? That was his question, 7th question. He asked these 7 questions in first 2 verses. And Bhagavan answered first 6 questions. Adhyajna is this, Adhyatma is this, Adhidaivam is this is karma, etc. in only 2 verses. 3 and 4 is an answer for first 6 questions of Arjuna. And the 7th question which he asked about the significance of remembering Lord all the time, and our significance of remembering the Lord at the time of death, then what will be his gati, etc. Well, all these, that question Bhagavan answered in 10 verses. Verse number 5 to 14. In 10 verses Bhagavan answered that. And now we have to see it is what is the answer first. So this significance of remembering Lord at the time of death, etc. He says, we have to see it a little logical pattern here. So whatever is remembered at the time of a death indicates the predominant personality of the individual. Your personality can be determined by your last thought. And your last thought, etc., or your personality is based on your personality. Your personality is based on your certain lifestyle. Your lifestyle is based on your habits. Yeah. So initially what happened, this is we are talking about at the time of death. Means let's say a person is old. In a life of a human being, initially our will is very strong. And even though we have certain habits, we can definitely cross over. We can even drop those habits. So our impressions, habits means our impressions, vasanas, based on that our habits. Those can be taken care of. Vasanas are not so strong. Impressions are not strong. Will is strong. In a young age, will is strong. But what happens is, as you have multiple experiences in your life, then impressions become stronger and will becomes weaker. Yeah. And that is how we are not able to change the habits in old age. Even though we sometimes scold old people. Now you are old, now you understand? You should rectify this. But they are not. They are not able to do. So definitely, habit governs our life in old age. Because we have multiple experiences, and experiences based on our likes and dislikes, and that's how the impressions are very strong. Any experience leaves behind an impression. Yeah. So, they always say that anubhavajanya samskara hai. Yeah, samskara means this impression. Samskarajanya smritihi. And those impressions alone, when any external triggering factor comes, those multiple samskaras are there in our chittam. There are four things. The chittam has all these impressions. So any external triggering factor will be there to bring out a certain portion of vasanas in our conscious mind, which is called memory. So vasana alone becomes memory, but all the vasanas are right there, then for my memory should be very powerful. No, external triggering factor is required, some triggering factor. Anyway, so the old person's habit, well, obviously at the time of death, definitely, is influenced by our habit. Our final thought, let's say, is influenced by our habit. Anyway, and therefore, if you have formed a good habits, your final thought also will be good. And accordingly, one gains a new birth also, which is comparatively better. There are two factors which is responsible for gaining a new life. One is your own karma, and second is a vasana, talked by Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. These two factors, not mere karma. Mere karma cannot give you a particular birth in next life. Your vasanas also equally are there, which Bhagavan calls it in 3rd chapter as a prakriti. Yeah, prakriti. A particular person comes with certain tendencies. We see also that the children which are born in the same family, but they have different tendencies. So samskaras they carry forward. And they are all there in a sukshma sharira which never dies, in fact. The subtle body enters into the physical body, that is called janma. And therefore they are there. And therefore, so if we have a good samskaras, good smritis, born of good experiences, naturally, then definitely our final thought will be influenced by good habits. That's how Bhagavan said, yam yam vapi smaran bhavan, 6th verse. Bhagavan started answering Arjuna's 7th question. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajityante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Whatever the final bhavam is here, what is the final thought? Smaran, whatever you remember at the end moment, and you tyajityante kalevaram. Kalevaram means the body. Tyajityante, one gives up the body with this final thought comparative, then tam eveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. One is next life is influenced by that. So significance of a remembering Lord at the time of death is this, that it determines the next janma, which will be accordingly. Then next question is, what is the method of prayana kala smaranam? What is the method of getting a final thought in our mind at the time of that, which should be good? What is the method so that my final thought would be good? Well, it's so simple. We can understand now. Since it's influenced by your habit. Well, habit is nothing but your samskaras only. Samskaras are born of your anubhava. And therefore, one should always expose to the good things in life. Yeah. And especially if suppose one is doing meditation from the early age itself, then definitely he will be able to remember finally the Ishvara. Somebody asked, well, if Swamiji, if person is not conscious at the end moment, a person is unconscious, then how he is going to remember the Ishvara at that moment? They say even the person who is unconscious will have a certain thought patterns, and those thought patterns is again based on his tendencies or the habits only. So even in a comatose mind, well, whatever type of a thought, like in deep sleep state, well, Vidyaranya says we have a thought which are rudimentary thoughts. Because there is an experience of a deep sleep state. Experience is there, means some thought must be there. But that thought is not, we are not conscious of that thought in a deep sleep state. Same way here also. The person who is unconscious, whatever type of thought he has, definitely now there is no free will, not at all free will in an unconscious person. Then he's definitely, whatever type of thought he has, that is based on his tendencies or habits only. And suppose so, even at the end moment, due to some factor, the disease, etc., person becomes unconscious. If he has developed a good habit, then definitely he will have a good janma, etc., in later also. Anyway, and so here then Bhagavan points out for remembering Lord that you can use any particular symbol, Ishtadevata. And as such, Lord does not have any form for the sake of thinking and meditation, but we choose a particular symbol, etc. And here Bhagavan introduces a Omkara as one of the possible alambanam. And start meditating daily, form an habit. So at the end you will remember Lord. Then Bhagavan says, well, such a person who remembers Lord at the end point, either unconsciously or consciously, well, still he will gain, through the Shukla Gati. There are two types of paths have been shown here in verse 27. Shukla Krishne Gati Hete, Jagatas Shashvati Mate, etc. etc. So, well, there are two paths by which a person lives. So this person, this meditator who has meditated for a long on Ishvara with the help of Omkara, will definitely go through the Shukla Marga, reach to Brahmaloka, and well, if he has some special punyam, then Brahmaji will teach Mundaka Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, whatever. But Swamiji, but still he may not gain knowledge. It's not possible. Because he has rectified his software to a great extent. To gain a upadhi itself in Brahmaloka, there is some qualification, right? Like to gain a body in a Swarga, to become a Devata is not an ordinary thing. It's an extraordinary thing. And so we measure everything from our own standpoint remaining in this earth. So they get an exalted body, exalted mind, readiness also is there. So I think he has to just simply say Tattvamasi, etc. I don't think any other thing Brahmaji requires to say, and that to Brahmaji, he is such a teacher. So anyway, so the person becomes free, and his body will fall. Whatever the type of body he has in Brahmaloka, along with Brahmaji, he also merges into Brahman at the time of Pralaya, etc. This is called Krama Mukti. So, two types of Nishkam Upasana, you can see now. One Nishkam Upasana, the person takes care of his an obstacle, Vikshepa, here itself, and gains knowledge and becomes free. Jivan Mukti. Other type of a Nishkam Upasaka, definitely he has not any exposure to teaching in this life, but he continued with this meditation, and then definitely his final thought also is influenced by that. He remembered Lord at the end, and definitely he went to Brahmaloka, and well, in Brahmaloka he gained knowledge, if he has a special punyam. That I have to add, because Bhagavan is going to say the person returns also from Brahmaloka. Yeah. So, if he has some special punyam, well, that's how Puja Swamiji puts, a special punyam. So, if he has a special punyam, well, definitely he gains exposure to the teaching and becomes free. So, one Nishkam Upasana gives you Jivan Mukti, one type of Nishkam, other type of Nishkam Upasana gives you Krama Mukti. Jivan Mukti or Sadhya Mukti is one thing. Anyway, so this is what between verse number 5 to 14. I am coming closer now to verse 20. Then verse 15 to 22, in which our verse also is going to appear. There Bhagavan talks about two types of goals. One goal is a goal by which you become fearless forever, or you become free from self-condemnation forever. You become free from sense of want, sense of limitation forever. You gain peace forever, permanent. We have to put everywhere. There is something which is permanent. That's going to come. So that's one goal. And to become free from this, gaining freedom permanently, permanent freedom from all these obstacles, fear and this and that, and self-condemnation, and limitations, and sense of lack. One gains freedom forever, gaining freedom from agitation, etc. forever, gaining peace forever. So this is one goal, and that is called Ishvara, naturally. That must be the nature of Ishvara. Ishvara cannot be a freedom, having a peace now and not later. Then he is not Ishvara. So he is fearless now and later seeing me or he becomes fearful. It cannot be. So one goal is, that is how even our Purushartha Viveka starts in the Sadhana Chatushtaya. Nitya Anitya, that's a big thing. We generally miss what we should not miss. Our whole commitment to the Vedanta comes if we are clear about that first step. Very difficult. People generally, Sadhana Chatushtaya, etc., we say it is all, but there is this first step. Nitya Anitya, what I want in my life. Am I really seeking a goal which serves a purpose for me temporary? Or I am really seeking a goal which is permanent? Seeking anything in my life is permanent. Really. And it's a universal in fact. Fearlessness, every human being is seeking. One wants to be free from the sense of want. That is all human being is seeking. In fact, that's the moment of joy where you drop your sense of want, sense of lack. Having a sense of lack, you are aware of your sense of lack, you are lacking something that you are aware of, and at the same time you are happy. That's not possible. So, definitely we say we are seeker of happiness, etc., but this is what we are seeking. Or seeking happiness. Also, all the time, naturally, at all the places, under all circumstances, relating to all, let us say. We want to be happy. That's called permanence. And it's a one type of goal. And second type of goal is all material goals, which is time bound, which is not permanent. It's all time bound, time, space bound, whatever. All material things, wealth or anything. So Bhagavan says these two goals are there. And you should seek this Ishvara as a goal, Purusha as a goal, that's what is going to come. Anyway, so this is, and don't lean. You are seeking something permanent, and if you seek material goals, they are time bound. If you lean on that, since they are time bound, they will vanish in no time. Or if they don't vanish, you vanish. And even you are there and they are there, you may lose interest. We may lose charm of everything. We are tired of, in fact, everything. Any person, anything, we are tired of. We become tired of. In no time we become tired of. And therefore, these two types of goals have been told. And then Bhagavan said in the 16th verse, Abrahma bhuvanan lokaha punaravartinaha. Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Abrahma bhuvanan lokaha. A means Samantat, including Brahmaloka. Abrahma bhuvana loka. A stands for either exclusion of Brahmaloka or inclusion. Here it is including. Even that's the highest achievement, we can say. Experiential, where one can have a experiential joy, etc. which cannot be measured by sensory experiences here. Highest goal one can achieve in a human life is this. We may not be interested in this Brahmaloka, etc. But, so Brahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punaravartina. Punaravartina means even if you go there, you have to return. Yeah. So it's like up and down. So, no. Mamupetya. If you choose a goal, me, well, then Mamupetya means gaining me. Gaining me means recognizing me as the self. In fact, my abode is you. I'm not staying in Vaikuntha or anywhere else. Don't seek that way. So, Mamupetya means gaining me, reaching me. Reaching or gaining me is in terms of recognizing me as the very self, as the very I, as the truth of I. Punarjanmana vidyate. That you will be free from this ups and downs of life. Means coming to the life, having janma. Once you have a janma, there is a struggle. There is a struggle throughout the struggle. But once you take a birth, one will be conscious of one thing. I am a limited being. I am subject to birth and death. I am subject to punya papa, if you believe, etc., etc. So you keep struggling in your life to get rid of this sense of limitations, sense of bondage, centered on I. That is what the human life is. Anyway, and therefore, basically, Bhagavan says, if you choose me, there is limitless Brahman, which is free from birth and death, free from time, which is free from punyam, papam, etc. All. So then you will gain mukti. That's how Bhagavan presented in verse number 16. So Brahma Bhuvanan Lokaha. So that means including Brahmaloka. So then in verse 17 introduction, Bhashyakara says, Brahmaloka sahitaha lokaha kasmat punaravartinaha kala parichinnatvat. Katham. So Brahmaloka sahitaha, including Brahmaloka, everything is kasmat punaravartinaha. Well, they will also perish. You come back and the lokas also perish. Why do you say so? Why Bhagavan says kala parichinnatvat? Well, kala parichinnatvat means because of a simple reason is that they are subject to time. What is subject to time? Appears in time and goes in time. Then Katham, how do you say Brahmaloka also is subject to time? Then answer has been given in verse 17. Sahasra yuga paryantam aharyat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha. Bhagavan, this Brahmaji is nothing but Ishvara alone. One step more. With respect to creation, Ishvara, which is the cause of the creation, is called Brahma. That's it. Nothing else. Ishvara is the cause of the creation. But then Ishvara starts manifesting. Like a seed starts manifesting, First a ankuram, sprout, and then becomes a big tree. It's like that. So Ishvara is a seed of the entire creation, cause of the entire creation. Start manifesting in the first as a subtle universe and then gross universe. So with respect to the creation, the same Ishvara is called Brahma or Prajapati. They use the word also, Prajapati. But anyway, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu. So, Brahmanaha Ahaha. Oh, this is a day of a Brahma. Day of Brahma, 12 hours. And that is what? Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Yugam means Chatur Yugam. And one Chatur Yuga means Kali Yuga plus Sat Yuga and Dwapara and etc. Total is 43,20,000 human years. That is Chatur Yuga. Sahasra, 1,000, multiply 1,000. 4.32 billion years is a day of Brahmaji. It means Brahmaji is awake. When Brahmaji wakes up, during that day, everything manifests. Whole thing. Because this is what the Brahmaji is. So he is awake right now, right? You are there, me, I am there, time, space, everything is there. Means Brahmaji is awake. Yeah. This is going on right now. So Brahmaji is awake. Well, this is the creation. And Brahmaji sleeps then, naturally, 12 hours. He also sleeps 12 hours. Then 12 hours sleep means another 4.32 billion years, human years. Yeah. So that's a one day, 24 hours of Brahmaji. My God, 8.64 billion years. This is called, when Brahmaji is awake and he goes to sleep, that 12 hours is called Kalpa, creation. Kalpa. So this is a Kalpa. Then when Brahmaji sleeps, we call Pralaya, Kalpa Pralaya. When we sleep, it is called Layaha. In Sanskritam, we call Layaha. This is Pralaya, where everyone goes to sleep. Whole universe, beings and things, all, sentient, insentient, entire world. All the jivas, who are the bhoktas, experiencers, and the world, the objects of experiences, beings and things, everything emerges when Brahmaji wakes up. And like that, and then during those, 4.32 billion years, you and me gain several bodies as per our karmas and all that. And like that, and then Brahmaji is tired now, 12 hours, he goes to sleep. All of us, this is a mini pralaya. Kalpa pralaya is a mini, because this is a one day of Brahmaji. Then Brahmaji also will go one day, right? So Brahmaji will resolve into Ishvara, right? Brahmaji will resolve into the cause ultimately, Ishvara. This is his manifestation. Anyway, so that is, they say 100 years. So 100 years like that every day of Brahmaji, 8.64 billion years, multiply 365. So let us say 365 becomes 1 year of Brahmaji. Like that 100 years he lives, then Brahmaji also resolves. So it's called Mahapralaya. Yeah, it's called Mahapralaya. It's a beautiful calculation. Scientists have their own calculations. So this Big Bang, etc., this Big Bang is nothing, is in Kalpa, by the way. Yeah, it's in Kalpa. Big Bang happened. Okay. So this is verse number yeah. Then, this is so Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu Ratri Yuga Sahasrantam Teho Ratra Vido Jana. Who says all this? There are people who have this kind, who are knowers of this. But what happens during Brahmaji when he wakes up? What happens? And when he sleeps, what happens? So Prajapatehe Ahani Ratraucha. What happens during a day of Brahmaji and night of the Brahmaji? That has been said in verse number 18. Avyaktat vyaktaya sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame ratragame praliyante tatraiva avyakta sannike. I already told you. The creation becomes, the whole creation becomes manifest. This is how it is. Well, basically, Ishvara identifies with this Virat. What is our waking state? You see. I, the conscious being, and consciousness identified with this gross body and everything here. That's a waking state. So this entire prapancha is there. With that, Ishvara identifies. That's a waking state of Brahma. Ishvara. That's how it is. Identifying with everything. And disidentifying with the body, we go to sleep. Body, mind, senses. Same way he disidentifies with this. Means everything is resolved. When we disidentified with the body, mind, sense complex, they resolve in us. They don't go anywhere else. They don't fly away. Right? So exactly like this. But it is, time scale is different naturally. If you leave this earth and go anywhere, even our satellite called moon, time scale is different. Time scale is different. You go to Mars, time scale is different. Everywhere time scale is different. Time is not an absolute thing. That's how Einstein also told. Anyway, so here in verse 18, this has been told, Avyaktat Vyaktaya Sarvaha. When he wakes up, what was there and unmanifest with, well, all these beings and things, well, manifest. And Avyaktat Vyaktaya Sarvaha Prabhavanti, they arise. Aharagame. when the day breaks, when Brahmaji wakes up. Ratra game, and when the night arrives, Brahmaji, it's night. Praliyante tatraiva, from where they have come, there itself they merge, unmanifest. So avyaktam vyaktam, avyaktam vyaktam. This is going on. This is going on. It has not begun. This is how it is. Yeah. People say, when did Bhagavan create this universe? Because you say create means manifestation, then it was already there in the unmanifest state. And what was in unmanifest state must have come from the previous manifestation. Therefore, that is how we call it as a cycle of creation. In a cycle of creation, there is no starting point. In a linear line, there is a starting point. In a circle, you can take any point as a starting point, if you want. Therefore, really there is no creation by Ishvara, purpose of creation. People ask this question very seriously. What is the purpose of creation, etc.? And when did he really thought of this creating everybody? Because people feel pain in this world, and therefore we feel, why did he create all this? So anyway, so this is how in verse number, up to verse number 18, I have given you this, the gist of thing. 19, 20, etc. I will talk after half an hour. Okay? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.